So while those parts that we've just welded up cool off, I thought what I'd do is just a quick update about the Kart. So obviously I haven't uploaded for a while, but what I've been doing is just grabbing time as and when I can to start getting some more bits of this done. So starting from the front, so I've added, is now like a bearing point here for the top bar of the tilting mechanism that wasn't in before. The bearing mounts down here are properly welded in now as well. The rear wheel is also mounted, that's mounted in there, and I've also managed to make the canopy as well. Relatively straightforward, same as the rest of it, just bending and welding bits together. What we've got is this rim that goes around the outside that's slightly offset from this bar down here, and we're going to get some perspex and build a form for the inside of this and get a nice curved canopy to go over this. We've got a piston down here in the front so the whole canopy operates relatively nicely. Needs a bit of just finagling to get it into place, but it lifts up pretty nicely there, and then just locks back down into position. So that's where we're at with the whole build now. So the parts that we've just welded up are these front, they're going to be the axle holders essentially. We've got these eye bolts, or the rose joints, bolt screw into there and bolt in, and then what we're going to get is let's find one, a piece of round bar then that goes between these two, and that's where the axles for the wheels will be held onto. So that's the part we're going to make now on the lathe. Okay, so we've got the front now all put back together, back in the cart, for a bit of a test fit up of everything. Still moves very freely, it's very easy to move, it's real solid, and no play anywhere in it, which I'm really happy with. What we've got now is these kind of assemblies on the side, so this is what's going to hold the axle and then for the wheel, and then we can use this to control the steering with it as well. So what I've got is some hubs that I made on the lathe previously. This was the first part I made of this project. Now originally I put bearings in for a 12mm axle, but I've decided that's not going to be strong enough, so I want to put a 15mm axle through this. So unfortunately I haven't got any 15mm steel at the moment, so I've got some on order, but until that arrives I can't do much more with this front end now. So I'm going to have to wait till that arrives. I've also got some new bearings coming with a 15mm centre, so I'll press these out and put the other ones in. And then I can get the front wheels mounted for this thing as well. But in the meantime, there's a couple other bits that I want to get done, just some miscellaneous parts. So Canopy scrapes the back when it opens a little bit. For the moment it holds it shut, which is quite convenient, but I want to sort that out and then put an actual lock on here, a Canopy lock. So one part of the Canopy lock I want to be important is I want it to be able to be open from the outside as well as the inside. Just if there's an accident or something happens, I'm not locked in here waiting for help or something silly like that. I want to put a catch somewhere at the top here. It will be kind of lever operated with a cable that goes up from the inside, and then on the outside there'll just be either a lever or something, canopy release up here off the same latch that will just release everything and open the canopy, you know, as you need to. And then the other part of this that I want to lock is I want the ability to lock this rotation. I want the ability to stop this from happening. My idea is of balancing this is I'm thinking of using some sort of foot pedals. I'm not quite sure how, but that's use your feet to control the tilt of the cart. But I want the ability to lock that tilt completely. So if it completely fails and tilting is horrible, I can lock it out and still race the thing. But B, when you sat there kind of on the start line or waiting or getting towed back up the top of the hill, I don't want to have to sit there balancing it. So my idea again is to put in a lock mechanism of some description. Now I've got an old handbrake cable from a truck outside, and what my plan is I can route this down the chassis. When you sat in the cart, there'll be a lever somewhere just down here that you can pull this cable through, which will be connected to a pin somewhere, probably up here, so I'm thinking, and it will push through and lock this front carrier to the chassis, so you don't have to balance it all the time. So I'll leave the front end where it is, and I'll crack on with those two other bits to see how far we get today. Some registration pins first for the canopy. So be just some spikes on the bottom that then made into these female parts here. I need to finish welding them on, but basically they just slot in there and then hold the canopy down. So it just means that every time the canopy's in place, it can't move now left or right. It's not just reliant on that hinge. So now we know exact position of the canopy. It's absolutely not going anywhere. It's rock solid in there. We can now work on getting some latch formed, so we know the canopy is going to close in the same place every single time. So we're out of time unfortunately today. Didn't manage to get the catches done or anything, but what we've got is these canopy sort of registration pins all in place now. So when you release the canopy, it's got this pin that slots into this hole down here, and then it just means it shuts in the exact same position every time, and it works very nicely now. So it just sort of presses in and then just held by the friction of those pins at the moment, but I'll get a catch up here at some point, and then it just opens itself with the power of the gas strut down there. So real happy with all this at the moment. So yeah, unfortunately I've run out of time today, but yeah, catches are next, and then hopefully all my stuff for the steering has arrived by then, so we'll get that all done in the next episode. But until then, see you all later.